That's funny. That's interesting you mentioned, okay, because I've seen a lot of people saying like all the videos that are of extreme police violence that are being beamed into our brain right now. Like there was a new one just from like 35 minutes ago of like some old guy getting shoved on the ground and his head busted open by police. What people are saying is, well, my parents who watch the news all day, 24/7, MSNBC, that sort of thing, they don't see any of that. They're just seeing like a burnt out Target and like someone crying outside because it's so sad, or people like cleaning up, our poor like Chase Manhattan Bank that's been defaced with graffiti or something like that. So it's kind of like you're watching in real time, kind of like two different worlds that people live in. You have some people who see what's actually going on, which is all this violence from police against protesters, and then you have like all these people who think that like Antifa is burning down the country for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I think what Leslie, I mean, you really hit it on the head. That really is speaking to me, having been there on the ground in Minneapolis, because, like at one point I said we were, the march got tear gassed on Saturday. So we're all getting tear gassed. And there's a lot of people in the street. I think one of our best interviews, we interviewed a woman there. It's pinned to my Twitter profile at Eugene Puryear. And, people are super angry because this very peaceful protest is getting gassed. There's a lot of great things that are being said. So I just stopped one woman and said, would you mind coming on camera and just like saying how you feel? And she gave this really poignant thing. So MSNBC is there, and they've got like a camera person. They've got a million random people out there, including like 3 producers, and they're right there, and they're not capturing any of this. And I heard one of these producers say on the phone, I'm not going to say who I think I overheard him talking to, because now I don't want to get libeled here, but it was someone high up in their structure saying there's not that much going on here. Like, as that basically this was part for the course. Oh, just some protesters getting gassed. And of course that didn't, stop our cameraman from helping them, wash the gas off of their face with chemicals that they weren't prepared for. But it just felt like, damn, like y'all are right here, and you have an immediate patch in to millions of people if you want. And there are like just a bunch of regular Minneapolis people, not cartel, operatives or whatever, some sort of international conspiracy. And like, you just are going to choose to just move on from that rather than try to capture that. And it really just felt that, I mean, you could just sort of see the sort of disinformation effect in real time, and the type of thing that I feel like mainstream journalists hate to admit ever exists, like there's ever any political decision ever in what they cover. But I just didn't know like how else to take it, to hear some like producer on the phone saying there's not that much going on here, when like that just was not the case. I don't know if not enough people were being killed or something, or if, it's not righteous enough. I don't know exactly what they're looking for, but they missed a lot.
Maybe it wasn't looting.
Yeah. They also didn't get the people handing out, masks and hand sanitizer and water and food, and, honestly, some looted, quote unquote, looted goods. I can tell you this right now. I myself stopped at like a random table late at night, walking back from something. These people called us over our team. Hey, are you guys thirsty? Are you hungry? Do you need something? We're just like out here to help people. And we were like, where did you buy all this? And some of it they bought, some of it they were like, nah, it came from some of these looted stores. I can tell you this, I was in a shopping center that was allegedly looted, and all the stuff that was allegedly stolen, people had actually set up an almost like a free market that people could come by and look. And this is a country with 44 million people at any time experiencing hunger, 49 million people who are unemployed, like, a $1,200 stimulus check. Like, a lot of this is the stimulus check. When someone breaks into Payless, they aren't trying to steal Gucci's. They need some work shoes. I mean, it's that clear. But again, there was no MSNBC, no CNN to be found and telling that story on the ground.
That sounds like some free market fundamentalism.
Yeah.
Little callback. Can I play that video that you were talking about, Eugene?
Yeah, please.
Your profile. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little Mother 3. Okay,
that's the one. Yep.
Great. Okay, let's do a little open thing.
I got uncles, I got cousins.
Okay, so any setup that you want, or should we just play this?
Well, the setup real quick, just what I just said. So like basically we're in this totally peaceful march. It had like just been gassed. A bunch of us are gassed. That's why my mask is down, because everyone's trying to, gas for air. We're blinking, our eyes are watering or whatever. And this woman was, who's from Minneapolis, was very fired up. So I just asked her to share some of her feelings.
Okay.
What brought you out here tonight?
I got to stand for my people. I got 3 sons. I got uncles. I got cousins. I got brothers. And this shit is not right. We've been quiet for too fucking long. We've been quiet. We've been peaceful. Now, it's time for revenge. Tear this bitch down.
Come on.
And I mean that from my heart. Tear it down. They doing people like this.
And what do you say to the governor who's saying people are coming from outside, it's drug cartels, it's other people?
No, it's tired people. It's people that's tired of this bullshit right here, taking advantage of us. This is our shit. Without us, we wouldn't even be out of this shit.
Let's go.
That's why we gonna tear this bitch up.
Let's go.
Period.
Thank you.
That's
What brought you out here tonight?
Okay,
I got to stand for my people. I got 3
great.
sons. I got
And the tweet. Let's see, what did he written about that? He
Oh,
wrote,
that's really great.
right, and Mother 3 from Minneapolis. We've been quiet for too long. I mean this from my heart. Tear it down. And then the tweet that you wrote about this was, the person I interviewed here is the real voice of Minneapolis. Really belies the whole foreign influence BS floating around. Before anyone says anything, my mask is down because we'd just been gassed and I was catching my breath. So, yeah, that's a pretty amazing.
Well, that was going to be my first comment is, Eugene, we're wearing your mask incorrectly.
Yeah.
I was going to wag my finger. No, that was really emotional and really, like, I understand why that video went viral. And it's interesting because, like what you were saying, Eugene, watching CNN, because sometimes I hate myself, I do, and watching MSNBC, it's like they didn't do any interviews with people. I haven't seen many, maybe because they're scared of getting the virus or like, but they've been pretty much keeping their distance from doing interviews with people. So you're not actually hearing what people on the ground are saying. You're just seeing kind of images from afar.
Yeah, and that's the type of person that MSNBC wouldn't put on anyway. Like,
Right.
they're not gonna put no real ass black ass people on TV, angry ass black ass people. That just is not a thing you see on MSNBC. They don't like. They don't like black people. They don't like black people. You never see black people on any of this stuff unless they are, like myself or Eugene, very, esteemed, professional,
Right.
educated. Black people. Put some real ass black people, hood ass black people on TV because they're the one going through it. That's why they're angry. That's why these people, like, the people do not understand the anger that you have to even the place you grow up in. Like, how can you burn your own neighborhood? Because your own neighborhood is just a bunch of, rundown businesses that like extort money from you, grocery stores with, spoiled food in it, like all this other shit. Like even the Target in Minneapolis. Now Target is kind of like a middle class bougie ass store, and the reason it was there is because it was like a lab that they use to like practice loss prevention techniques, which is anti-shoplifting techniques. So they were conducting like an experiment on the black community there by putting the Target there, and you can read like corporate statements from Target,
Wow.
like they're publicly available, saying like, that's why we have this Target, this is our testing lab. Well, I think the people who burned it down actually did them a big favor and gave them a lot of data for loss prevention, so they should actually tracking those people down in order to properly compensate
Yeah, I'm
them
sure they're gonna
for
do
all
that,
the
right?
information that they handed out to them.